This is the untold story of Atlas. Modern Hawaii remix. So imagine you're sitting on top of the mountain, on top of a cloud, or top of a really big skyscraper building looking out through glass windows. This dude, Zeus, or just call him Biggie, is sitting there on a pile of money, pile of cash, pile of power, pile of umbrellas, umbrella corporations, which just reach out into everything, and everything traded and stocked is basically just all one part of everything that he owns, she owns, it owns. It's omnipotent, it's omnipotent, it's everything. It's just boring being all of all, and you can't actually hide in the shade of your own armpits because you're just holding everything. And so you need some kind of spokes, also a little bit of that guilt, a little bit of that weight of conscience on the shoulders, because of course you are the cause of all the brightness and all the darkness, and you need something that can hold up all of the weight of that, the screams of the children, the babies, and the poverty, and all of the upside of the down, the downside of the up. And so this dude, Zeus, Deuce, Bigelow, Biggie, he creates, pulls out his own wisdom tooth, plops it into the ocean, and it sinks right down and is embedded in with all the jellyfish and all of the sand, and starts to through the lightning strikes of all the pirates who are being dropped off the plank backwards, all of the lightning strikes that is coming out of the gold teeth as they sink down to the bottom with this tooth that's planted down in with the, as I said, jellyfish and sand, zaps it just like it was zapped by God itself from the God Eye, and it starts to sprout up this fractal kind of coral reef, which starts to suck up all the ocean. All the ocean gets dragged into the roots of this coral wisdom tooth. Zeus, God, new conscience, earlobe, listening to itself down the conical shape of all these shells, the shells which sound like the ocean actually sucked up the ocean. So this guy, the CEO, sitting at the top of the sky tower, watches the ocean recede. So his beachfront sky mansion starts to become further and further away from this blue dot, which recedes into the distance. It's like a little marble, and all of a sudden this marble, right, like big as an ant's testicle, suddenly blip, pops up and starts making its way towards the skyscraper. He can't see it, so he gets out his telescope and sees that this coral reef has formed a globe, and this globe is on top of this something that's really small. It comes towards the skyscraper, gets in the elevator, ding, top level, goes all the way up the top. And there stands, rolling out, barefoot, ragged, sea muffin, pirate, vagabond, beard dripping, blue golden eyes of turquoise, opal, emerald, piercing through, making Zeus slash Biggie CEO's heart quiver. Tears start streaming down his face. There he stands face to face with Atlas. Atlas, this man who has this huge coral reef, which has drawn up all of the pain, all of the screams, all of the drowning lullabies of the last pirates to walk the plank, stands. Cheekbones like empty caverns and caves, eyes like retreated hermit monks who are there with their spiral wisdom, shamanic symbols looking straight back at him. It's like looking into a shattered splinter of the first mirror that was ever shattered by God's voice when it first let out the eternal boom of expansion. Basically, it's like a piece of himself that he just couldn't swallow. That piece that cared, that piece that did listen to the screams, that piece that only ever needed to be in the shadows of all the greatness that he cast, that one foundational peg of integrity that could hold up the world. And so he just, he lets this coral just unfurl. It's like the blue carpet, the opposite of the red carpet. The red carpet, which is just usually rolled out in front of celebrities to make them feel great when they arrive at the Grammys or Emmys or any kind of awards, that sort of, that tongue that laps at the feet of the gods and billionaires. No. This is the opposite of that. Instead, it is the ceiling which casts above, that blue sky, that limitlessness, that no matter how much money you have or how tall you grow or how many accolades and how many hands hold you up, the screaming, cheering stadiums, you will never reach the top of it. He rolled out the sky above the God. He rolled out the blue carpet. He rolled out that single palm, that calm expansion which rises ever more beyond this ocean, beyond the globe, out, and there is no skin, there is no ceiling. No matter how many skyscrapers Zeus, Juice, Biggie grew, he would never be able to touch the top of it. It's like the limitless depths. Atlas rolled out the sky above the God itself, thereby encapsulating him in the humility of being one of us. And this is the untold story of how Atlas was born, from the wisdom tooth of the CEO who had it all, and through that quiver, that sliver of shattered glass of conscience, buried it so far deep at sea with all the other drowning pirates, he thought that that treasure would never be found. And yet through the lightning strike, that improbable piece of hope, in the last glint of the drowning pirate's eye, zap, it was brought to life. And everything rallied. In that one moment, everything rallied to water it. It's just like that moment when we find that little slither of a door open, when we might be able to block or crash down a wall, or we might be able to change some kind of law, we might be able to save a life. We will all rally. We will all devote ourselves, just like the ocean did, into the seashells, to feed that coral, to wrap ourselves into a ball. And improbable as it was, like a mother who raised to lift a car off her trapped child, he lifted that ball and walked it all the way from one end of the earth right up to that skyscraper, went right to the top and unfurled the opposite of everything that the God had been given before. He unfurled the sky beyond the God and brought him back to humanity.